electorate and generally members of the public, sharing what their plans have been. From what you're getting so far, are we seeing satisfaction with the message, rather messages that have come through from the different candidates?
All right, so from the few people that I managed to speak with, they did say that so far they've been able to hear some of the candidates' manifestos, but they were suggesting that even though it might be costly, but they were suggesting that next time they should probably try printing out their manifestos and handing them out to people. That way people can have time to even go through the manifestos on their own time when they're at home, rather than just getting to hear them maybe on TV or radio. They also did go on to say that yes, while others are providing the online platforms to provide the manifestos, they did say that it is important that people can actually go with these manifestos back home to just go through the manifestos themselves and be able to understand on their own time. So those are some of the things that people are definitely raising, considering the manifestos that the presidential candidates had to offer.
Now, interesting that they would say that just the other day we saw one of the parties literally printed out their whole manifesto in a newspaper. But I would like to get the conversation here, Mulenga, with the ones you talked to that have managed to go through some of these party manifestos. What's the one thing that they have been picking out for you that you have seen seems to be a huge concern with unaddressed solutions in these manifestos that could be commendable?
Well, from the people I did manage to speak to, they didn't say much concern when it comes to the manifestos. Actually, a lot of them just kept on calling for peaceful voting tomorrow. They say that the manifestos were clear, they are good with the manifestos, but as they go to the polls, they just want to ensure that everybody upholds themselves in a peaceful and unifying manner. That's where we can conduct the elections in a peaceful way and be able to just await for the results in a peaceful way. So initially, all the people that I've managed to speak for so far were actually running away from the question of the manifesto, and by just ending up saying that they definitely just are calling for the peaceful voting come tomorrow, 13th August 2026, saying that at the end of the day, we only have one Zambia and one nation, and therefore the people that I've spoken to have definitely called for peaceful and united voting come tomorrow.
Now, when we talk about those interactions and people not exactly focusing on the manifesto, were they also able to share why? Is it issues still around accessibility, perhaps speaking into the literacy levels as well? Because that has been another concern for some stakeholders, and an observation that people don't tend to read what is availed to them or what is provided for them, especially during this time of the year. Were we able to get any of these as the common reasons for that?
I was unable to get your question quite clearly, Chumweka, but to just re-emphasize, when it comes to manifestos, they did say that the manifestos, they hate the manifestos from the political leaders, and they are okay with the manifestos that these political leaders said, and they just hope that tomorrow, come what may, whoever is voted in, people will be able to accept that.
Campaign messages, with what we've seen, did you extend your conversation with these people to campaign messages and how some have condemned that some candidates have been, it's been more personal attacks onto other candidates? Are people satisfied with the campaign messages that have been happening in the different platforms that these various candidates have been holding?
There's one person that really raised the satisfaction, that he is quite satisfied, especially when it comes to to the ruling party's manifesto, saying he really supports the free education and so on and so forth, and says that that's a very good manifesto, but he was unable to elaborate further on the other manifestos. I'm guessing maybe it's because he was inclining more to the ruling government, so to the ruling party, I beg your pardon. So far, those are only the things that people have been able to say regarding the manifestos.
Maybe hoping for a peaceful election, may have not taken time to go through these manifestos. But from your interactions, do we have people who are decided on what the decision will be tomorrow? Are we still seeing uncertainty from some Zambians through that particular interaction? Blenga? Hello, Blenga? Okay, seem to have lost the connectivity with our reporter, Mlenga Chpampe Makasa, but we'll try to reconnect with her as we conclude on this particular subject. But Vida, I guess no surprise for so many other people who might be watching and following what's happening, that you have a number of people who have not taken time to go through manifestos. Many describe it as unfortunate, we see it as unfortunate. Others look at it from a different perspective, that candidates may have not availed their manifestos or had their manifestos as accessible as desired, but perhaps people have been able to get the messages of the aspiring candidates through their public engagements, through their rallies, their door-to-door engagements, door-to-door meetings. They've been able to share those messages verbally. So sometimes people may not be able to read the manifestos, but they get to hear the intentions of the candidates through these verbal interactions. And perhaps for some people that may be enough. Look at the last 9 months and even before, I think we've been able to hear different statements and sentiments from some candidates. Unfortunately, others have not been as loud as others have been, or as vocal, but people have been able to hear some of those sentiments, and perhaps that could play a role in what we are hearing from some citizens through the interactions with Mlenga there. Mlenga, do we still have you on the line?
Mlenga Chpampe, are you able to hear us?
Yes, I am able to hear you.
All right. So my question pretty much was on the observation from your interactions. Are we seeing people who are decided ahead of tomorrow, or are we still seeing uncertainty in terms of who the people you interacted with plan on voting for?
From the people I interacted with, some are saying that they're hoping that the ruling party can continue with that same, that way they can continue with the continuity. I know that's a reputation, continue with the continuity, but that way they can carry forth the continuation with the projects that they've started to be able to finish them. So from the people that I spoke to, some of them really did say that they hope even tomorrow, as people cast their votes, as they hope they'll be casting the votes for the ruling party as well, so that there's a process of continuity when it comes to projects and development.
Just to even speak into the mood of the people that you have gotten to interact with, are they excited to get to vote tomorrow? What do they anticipate? If 2021 is something to go by, others would be ready to even wake up as early as themselves. Would they be getting interacted with? How are they feeling about waking up to vote tomorrow? Do they plan on doing this earlier in the morning? Are they excited to do it? I mean, if we look at what we saw in 2021, people were waking up as early as 04 to go and queue up.
Some of other people, because obviously some of them I managed to get them on record, others are refusing obviously to be gotten on records, but even though they refuse to be gotten on record, I'll obviously try to have a conversation with them to just try and gauge what's happening, especially among the voters. And some of them, especially people that didn't want to be gotten on record, were saying that they're not feeling the excitement that they felt in 2021 to go back to the polls and queue up in long queues just to be able to vote. But they do hope that people will be able to go out in numbers, just like in 2021, and be able to vote and cast their vote as well, so that they vote in the person that they want to see win. But a number of people that I was speaking to, obviously off the record, again, that didn't want, it's not the same excitement that they have in 2026.
All right, now, Mlenga, as we get to conclude, still on this very, very important subject of messaging, are we still looking at people still hopeful to get some of these messages in the last few hours? Because we only have a few hours before campaigns get to close. We're looking at literally about less than 5 hours to go before the campaigns come to an end according to the Electoral Code of Conduct. Are we still seeing interest to hear more of the messages that candidates have to offer?
From the conversations I've had surrounding this, they're saying that right now what is just left is to go to the polls and cast their votes, and that with just a few hours to go, hopefully everybody has made up their mind on who they'll be casting their vote for, so that the elections can happen tomorrow, 13th August 2026.
Mlenga Chipampe Makasa, thank you so much for giving us this update on the real-time newsroom, which is bringing us to the end of the show for this afternoon. Remember that as Diamond Media, we do have the biggest election broadcast, biggest election coverage. It officially starts at 6 a.m. tomorrow, the Zambian vote. We go live at 6 a.m., and this will be non-stop until we deliver the presidential result. And according to the Electoral Commission of Zambia, the expectation is it will be announced on the 17th of August 2026, which will be a Monday. And we'll be here as the Diamond Media team to bring you the updates as they happen in real time from the different constituencies of Zambia. The channel is DStv channel 271, GOtv channel 20, and Topstar channel 93. That's Musanza TV, where you'll be able to catch these updates as they happen. Thank you for watching. My name is Jimwega Chileshe.
I'm Vida Mwale. Do take care through the rest of the day as you're listening into the different message that is being brought to you finally in the last hours by these political parties, by their politicians, as they go about their campaigns in the last few minutes. Thanks to Fashion World for dressing me. Enjoy the rest of your day.